Slight bit of deja vu all over again here. Honda on the front row, front wheel drive, four wheel drives to swamp them at the start, no doubt. Race 2, reverse grid time. Suzuki P10 on pole, Rustad P9 second on the grid, and then the two Mitsubishis we saw battling towards the end too. But we're expecting a surge from Mercedes, a surge from Toyota through the mid-pack as well. Now, during our break, we went for a wander, and of course, there are some super touring fans here, and what made me laugh, what made Swinny laugh as well, there is a Japanese super touring fan club. One of them, because Swinny drove that Mazda, that charcoal void, one man resplendent in a charcoal void hat. We have to point that out to him. That was hilarious, but heartwarming at the same time.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It was very odd to see that. Just my old car in essentially 1/18th scale, perched upon someone's head. Very endearing.
And of course, made his day when you put your signature on it too.
Well, yeah.
So let's see if we can see future hats inbound from Honda, Mercedes, and what have you. Lights go out. Let's see if Suzuki. Never mind. It's front wheel drive already, and it's Rustad. Then it's Ingram. Then it's Nakano. Suzuki has not fended up. Lotra down the inside. Bit of a battle and a bit from Baj. And Lotra, or Suzuki in the same position as Scaife was for race 1. Scaife dropping further back, having been P4, swamped by more four-wheel drive action. The high-speed traffic jam commences through the S's. Rustad leads.
Yeah, once again, Lotra is showing that the Mercedes can get off the line incredibly well compared to even its four-wheel drive brethren there. Lotra started a long way back and he's already up to 4th. Meanwhile, Ingram wants the lead, going to go around the outside. That's an interesting choice.
That was very aggressive as well. I think Rustad, didn't expect to see Rustad turn that way through the final turn.
There we go. He's tried to go for the undercut. Rustad's just got the better straight line speed at the minute. Here comes Nakano with a head of steam. So Rustad has got all of the Mitsubishis in his rearview mirror to run away from.
Now this is what the Subaru Mitsubishi rivalry, they were expecting to see this at the front of the field throughout the season. Now they've eventually got it.
Yeah, all we're missing is a Martini liveried Lancia.
Wrong era. And I don't think Lancia would want to make... it's too late for Lancia to make a new one.
I mean,
and run it to Super Touring franchise specs.
The new Delta that they're going to make is an EV, so it wouldn't be allowed, unfortunately. As much as it would be fantastic to see it.
Ingram power down, slipstream on Rustad. Will it be Ingram down the inside for turn 1?
Is he going to send it? He's going to have a look.
If gap car, maybe not.
Quite. Lotra looking a bit aggressive on the back of Nakano's car as well. Got the fastest lap. He's shown that the Mercedes has some speed. Pulled away from Suzuki already, so it's a little 4-car breakaway here. Split off into pairs.
Lotra with the fastest lap, and as we are getting closer to the evening, the mist, for some reason, the mist is inbound.
Yeah,
not as
overcast situation is going to make the track temperature kind of colder. So not sure who that will favour just yet. It'll be those with a more conservative setup on that's a bit more stable. Ingram got a bit of run. Going to use the slipstream.
Rustad questionably wide a little bit, but Suzuki now has the fastest lap. Okay, Suzuki now means as much business as Scaife did in race 1. Will it pay dividends though? Here, we're expecting. Will it be around the outside? No, it will not.
Rustad going defensive there. Didn't use all the track. Made sure to cover off the inside line. So Rustad is definitely driving in his mirrors so far.
Yeah, running strangely wide there as Ingram gives him a wake-up call again, just like Ingram gave Nakano a wake-up call in race 1.
Yeah,
it's on.
Being careful not to overdrive the corners, being sensible. There's a lot of this race left to go. Oh,
sensible and
move.
around the outside. Rustad bailed out of that. Either way, dare you see a better move next time by. Ingram now leads and will be very happy with that, and has got a sensible gap too.
Yeah, already off and away. Can he repeat his performance from Autopolis with that opportunistic race 2 win? He's got a lot of fast cars behind him, though. It depends on how quickly, or if, anyone else can get around Rustad, because it appears to be Rustad is the cork in the bottle currently.
I'm anticipating something here. I mean, we're seeing some very good racing here, but given and had we expected it, we'd have said about it. But
oh,
we're getting wipers. We are getting wipers. We should have known about this. I'm surprised that we didn't.
Well, it's Suzuka, isn't it? It's happened before.
Is this going to be for the rest of the race now? The raid.
Well, the wipers have stopped already, so that was the lightest of smatterings. And they're going again. Okay, the weather is deciding to be indecisive, but we can see it now. That's proper rain. Methinks intermediate tyres are going to become a factor in this.
So it's going to be the first to flinch, or the last to be brave will be the race winner here then, if it's going to be a bit more permanent. Now, given our last footage of the Worlds was at the Nürburgring, that was just a light shower and has a natural habit of just flying across the Nürburgring course, full or short version. We are at a very short circuit, so maybe, just maybe, it won't be necessary. Scaife has now got the fastest lap though.
Yeah, the Hondas once again showing that they've got speed. They're just sort of stuck in the traffic, and I think everybody now is just going to sit in a holding pattern and wait for the weather to make up its mind, so they know, are we going to stay out on the slicks, or are we going to come in for inters or possibly wets? It appears to be raining just through turns 1 and 2, because this is where I'm seeing the wipers, and then they're turning them off again for the rest of the lap.
A couple of laps ago, I did see a glimpse of it through the braking area before the shortcut, just through the Dunlop shortcut there. I think the lap is too short to even risk or warrant a long pit stop and be stuck at the back of the pack. Now, sillier things have happened. Frentzen leading a race, for example, still in last. Winterbottom still 18th. Okay, maybe sillier things haven't happened yet. But yeah, nobody's gambling, and perhaps I don't blame them. Fujiwara 13th, so that's going to be a good look for avoiding last place. Wipers are plenty.
Yep,
Nomura ahead.
Turn 1 and 2. Therefore,
Lights
this is
ablaze
where the rain
now.
is. And we're starting to see spray come out from the back of the cars, so it really depends on what the rain is going to do and whether it moves over the rest of the lap, which it looks like it now is.
Still psychological. It looks as if everyone is still well-manned enough not to be flinging off into the gravel as if it's like an oil slick or something.
Yeah.
Ingram is still leading. Rustad now. Okay.
Nobody's pitting so far.
You'd have seen a massive lift up from drivers trying to park their way into the pit lane, as it's not a very. I mean, the entry to this pit lane is pretty much on apex, isn't it? It's an awkward. It's an awkward line to get in.
Pull the car hard right.
And wide goes Ingram.
Nearly threw it off there. Everyone's having a wiggle around. Oh, we're going to have to come in for wet tyres now.
Yeah, that is definite spray.
Oh, yes, look. There's someone spun it. There's a traffic jam.
And we can see that someone has completely turned the wrong way round at the entrance to the G-turn, and that was Frentzen. Degrassi in 19th. Ingram still leads, and this is very...
Oh, we're in tiptoe mode now. It almost looks like a virtual safety car. Look at that.
Or a slide on. Slide job. Not often you see that.
Yeah, they're going to have to come in this time by. I can see from here all the pit crews are getting ready, so here we go. Yeah. Everybody diving in. Going to put on, I assume, intermediate tyres. I don't think the rain's heavy enough for full wet.
Yeah. No, yeah, everybody's in. So it just depends now how quick, how lightning fast these mechanics are going to be, because these are the guys that are going to make or break the win. But Katayama,
Feeling
okay,
brave, along with Scaife and Takahashi.
Scaife,
I'm not sure that's the best play, but hey, if it works, then more power to you. We're already seeing people leave the pits on intermediate tyres,
I
so how
reckon,
quickly is Ingram going to catch those three in front?
yeah, I reckon they're going to be in, as when it's closing in already. Takahashi, I mean, Takahashi was mid-pack, as was Scaife, as was Katayama. And
Yeah,
there we
oh,
go.
and
There's the
there's...
spin.
Oh dear.
I'll be
Yeah, excuse
surprised
me,
that,
thank you.
yeah, I'm amazed that there's no questions will be asked about things like safety cars, whether or not we should have actually perhaps waited for the weather to actually arrive so we could start on wets. But this is this is the antidote to race one, where all the action and the traffic jams are happening because the guys that have got the grip want to get past the guys that haven't. In they go, and that's Ingram still leading from Rustad and Nakano. So despite the drama, the lead technically hasn't really changed.
No, there's been
And
some shuffling further back in the grid because, of course, some people stayed out, most people pitted. So the people that waited a lap too long are now paying the price for it. Nakajima now gets himself into 11th because of it. So all of these cars...
now is this where we're going to see some actual traffic then? We might do.
Ingram's
So
still
Ingram
leading.
leads.
Though now that they've got the, of course, because, you know, one spanner in the works isn't enough. If you notice, with Ingram deliberately driving offline there to demonstrate my point, there is no spray coming up on the racing lane. So the rain has already stopped. The track is drying pretty quickly. So are we going to have to come in again for dry tyres with a drying track? Or are people just going to tough it out on the intermediates that they've all put on? We don't know if there's another rain shower due either.
Yeah, it seemed fairly obvious with the track surface the way it was. You had to pit, but then all of a sudden, it's like quicker than quick dry cement. This rain has disappeared,
Yeah,
and it's off the tarmac as well. Question for the race organisers next time: that had we given it
more of a
15
nature
more
of the
minutes,
beast because it's such a short. I mean, the East Course variant is a short circuit, a short lap, and you've got 20 cars going around it. So they're going to soak up that water pretty quickly. And Suzuka's pretty good with its drainage systems because, of course, they're used to the rain. So it's not necessarily surprising. It's just
these
as I
inters
said,
in the dry.
multiple spanners.
These intermediates in the dry, how well have they handled ever?
Well, they give you a decent amount of grip, but they do wear very quickly. So Ingram is being smart by driving them offline and cooling them down in the remaining water that's on the start-finish straight. He can't really do it round the S's, of course, because there's a racing line that needs to be adhered to if you want to keep the lead of the race.
And
again,
of all the teams to have the advantage, you'd still think it would be the four-wheel drivers that have the advantage with these tyres. But here comes Suzuki by the looks of it.
Yeah, he has
closing in.
A net gain in amongst the rain and the chaos, where he was, what, 6th, 7th, and he's now up to 4th, so he's gained a couple of spots in that pit stop shuffle.
And the fastest lap.
And he's got the fastest lap. And the fastest lap was recent as well, so it's not like it's a dry time that's not going to get touched. So Scaife does look like he's the quickest car right now, although he's got to catch that Mitsubishi, which he's not really doing, so maybe he's just deliberately holding off a little bit and looking after the tyres, playing a bit of a longer game. Got a few laps to go, so he can afford to do that for now, but he's going to have to get a wriggle on if he wants a podium out of this.
I'm amazed no one else is committed to the wet line. Pitsonia in.
Pitsonia
We got.
pits. So someone is going to try the dry tyres. There goes Suzuki. So Honda now on the podium. Maybe not.
The mid-pack are pitting. The rest of them are coming in right now. Okay. This is where... Okay. Very short race. We did not expect to see 2 pit stops. I think that's the first time in our franchise history we've had to have 2... Well, I mean...
I believe so, yeah.
Even
high speed ring. Back to dries again.
Even high speed ring wasn't that dramatic a change.
Now the question is anybody else going to follow suit, or are we all going to stay out a lap, see what the dry... Never mind. Ingram's staying out.
Knowing he's going to be encountering traffic.
Yeah, but if that traffic is on the correct tyre, the traffic's going to pull away from him. So he's just got to maximise this lap and then come in after the fact. And I think the idea here was to see, how fast Pitsonia is going on those dry tyres, if the grip is there, and then mirror what they've done if it's working. And if it's not working, obviously stay out on the inters. But people are coming out on dry tyres now, so it seems to be, and the sun is out as well. So yeah, this track is definitely dry enough. I think Ingram needs to pit this time by if he's got any sense.
Will he have heard that? Will he have heard that in the radio by now?
You can see the dry line on the track there.
It's now Rustad and Suzuki.
Yeah,
Ingram in. Now that means, okay, there's going to be a tense overlap because Ingram had a gap. Ingram did have a visible gap to Rustad.
So here comes the Subaru around the last corner. Down the straight. Question is, are we going to see a Mitsubishi at pit exit?
Ignore the timing for the time being because Ingram will pop back into position.
There
he
goes, third. Although he's going to lose a couple more spots by the looks of things. Yeah. So Ingram, after leading a lot of this race, back down to 7th. So he might be able to get those positions back, work his way through the traffic. But he's definitely got his work cut out. And he did. The staying out that extra lap was evidently the incorrect decision there.
Pitsonia with the fastest lap. Hot on slicks out of the pits, no doubt, but that might be eclipsed by one of these two at least, or at least they should, given that they are all on the same tyre now.
Yeah, Suzuki
Rustad
all over
defending
the back
from
of this
Suzuki.
Subaru.
More likely to see a Honda win in this race then. Scaife, words might have to be asked of Scaife if he couldn't do the job in race 1 after a poor start, but would the rain have helped him this time? By down the inside Suzuki. We go. Honda in the crowd cheers already cheering, and they are overjoyed because it's Suzuki at Suzuka in a Honda leading with 4 to go.
Yeah, the Honda has shown speed all weekend. They've just not been able to capitalise on it because of the traffic, and that goes for both of them as well. So now that Suzuki's in the lead on the correct tyres, we'll see if he can pull away at all.
Let's hope for that, because that means we've got yet another winner in the championship, in the inaugural championship. Rustad has already won one. Nakano might be in with a shout as well, but Lotra also. Butcher with the 5th place, definitely cementing his lead of the championship then. If Moto, well, that's Moto, not Winterbottom. Winterbottom's a little further back. So that is Toyota blushes spared, having had perhaps the worst start of the season, but are in a championship winning position right now, if it's for the drivers. Now, here's some traffic. Here's
Degrassi's Golf, and look at the train that's behind her.
Get out of the way.
I mean, it's not F1 rules. You don't have to dive off course to let the leaders through, but at the same time, don't defend your position. You're holding up the leader and essentially the entire top 10 at this point. Suzuki just needs to pull out and pass.
She's on the same tyres too. This is pivotal. Unless
There
Rustad
we
is awake.
go.
Okay. Oof.
Yeah, Suzuki
But
should have been a
then,
bit more aggressive about that, I feel like, but that
almost
has
like a
caused
safe.
one huge
Wow.
scrum behind her.
It's almost like the safety car came in on a rolling start. We've got a 3 wide into turn 1 drama.
Lotterer
Lotterer
capitalising.
up to second. Blimey. That's. Oh my word. Clark of the course. I mean, there's been. It's very entertaining, but questions have to be asked from race control on down by the looks of it. I mean, it's hard to say because
Yeah, I mean, it's a six and one half until the other. Like, yes, Anna de Grassi doesn't necessarily have to do anything. There's nothing in the rules about it. But at the same time, you want to be polite, you want to be sensible. But then on the flip side of that, the onus is on the attacking driver to pass safely and sensibly. And I feel like Suzuki could have been a lot more aggressive in going, just sending the car down the inside and going, right, I'm lapping you now. And de Grassi would have had to get out the way. So that's an interesting one to look at afterwards for sure. But either way, Suzuki, 1 lap to go. He is still in the lead. Lotterer now up to second. That's a good run for him for both races now. That's going to be a good haul of points for the Mercedes driver.
Rustad might be a little bit annoyed, if not completely annoyed. Ingram up to 7th. Pitsonia with the fastest lap in 8th.
Yeah, Ingram after that pit stop hasn't managed to capitalise any other points, but Muto managing to salvage something from a bad weekend with the top 10.
And now that I've noticed it, Honda, Mercedes, Mitsubishi. Hang on, yeah, Mitsubishi. Okay, I was expecting to see. It's Ingram. So we got 6 different manufacturers crossing the line. Suzuki wins.
Ingram is the first repeat there, yeah.
Yeah. And a very dramatic end to a race. Fujiwara, top 10. They'll be delighted with that. They know they can do better now. They've realised that, and they perhaps will, by the end of the season, will see something of a something even bigger. Takahashi crossed the line 15th on a single point. Here's the stragglers then. De Gracia lap down. Frentzen about to finish, and it's a tough one to call. I mean, we've got a new winner again, thankfully, and first front wheel drive car to win this season. All things considered, four wheel drive and rear wheel drive, we're going to have the advantage here. But yeah, the upshot of this is we've had one of the more dramatic transitions in the weather mid-race. We've had teams come in to change their tyres twice in what is effectively a sprint race. Logically, the race should have been delayed from my perspective, and perhaps some of the fans would have expected that as well. But from the response I'm seeing from the crowd, they don't seem to see it that way. They've been very well entertained, and no doubt perhaps people of a different opinion than I might have found that very entertaining as well. Swinny, what did you reckon?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for all of the lacklusterness of race 1, apparently taking a giant bucket of water and just dumping it on the track halfway around the race is the way to liven things up. I think Suzuki possibly was, well, he was definitely on for a podium. I think the rain helped him get that win, so it's nice to see Honda finally win a race in the Japanese series. That will silence some doubters for sure. And it just once again means that this championship is still wide open going into the final round at Fuji.
You will be shocked at the maths I'm seeing right now. Not only for the Drivers' Championship having a dramatic change from Winterbottom leading to Butcher leading. Let's look at the manufacturers, shall we? Toyota, 405 points. Gaining up from third, overtaking Team Mazda there with their performances and Butcher's win. Genesis didn't do well, 405 points. Joint first before we head to round 11 and the final at Fuji. That's one of the more dramatic pointers as well. Mazda still third. Very close shout for Subaru in fourth. Mitsubishi have overtook the Chaser Motorsports for the independents, having been more consistently in the mid-pack than Chaser have been since the start of the season. And then Drivers' Championship, we know Butcher's leading that. It's Keio Katayama is still second. Muto still third. Winterbottom is down to fourth, which is an interesting switch because Butcher was fourth before this weekend. They've swapped places. Pitsonia up to fifth with his performances. Takahashi down to sixth with a 2-point gain. Scaife up one place, 19-point gain after a very good result in race one, even if it was a poor start from Paul. Which then means, with there being, if I get my calculator out here again, it's 229 points there. 229, we're going to subtract 120, well, we're going to be subtracting 64 points because that's 2 races, 2 wins and 2 fastest laps. And therefore, whoever is 165 points behind Gordon Butcher. So it does cut the amount of potential race or championship winners down to the top 11. But still, that's on mathematics only. It's down to the other points paying positions as well. Butcher leads. Toyota being the favourites. It's kind of where we expected it to begin at the start of the season, but what a roller coaster it's been already. Ineptitude or drama notwithstanding. But yeah, Fuji will be like lightning in a bottle. This championship has been lightning in a bottle, and I can't wait to drink in the rest of it with you all. On behalf of Michael Swinnerton, Adrian Michael Rees here, the final will approach. Good racing, everyone.